Morphin Metacast, talking Ultraman. Joining us today is Joe. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing pretty great. So real quick, Joe, what we normally do on Morphin Metacast, we always kind of talk about the news real quick before we get into the main nitty gritty and stuff. So, feel free to chime in, so to speak.
All right.
So, I guess kicking things off, we have to kind of pay respects to Ninja Storm Red, Pua Magasiva, I believe. That's how you say his last name. Shane from Power Rangers Ninja Storm, he passed away this past weekend. Yeah, didn't see that coming.
Yeah, it was pretty sudden.
They're saying suicide possibly, but nothing's like solidified yet. So, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, you never expect it out of a power. Everybody dies. I think we've all come to understand that. But just seeing somebody that young die, I mean, he was like 2 years older than me. Literally.
How old was he?
Like 36, 37.
I thought he was 38.
Yeah, 37, 38, somewhere around. Either which way, pretty young.
Yeah, he's young as fuck.
So I was just like, holy crap. Like, I thought it was a joke at first and stuff. And then it was like, oh, all the New Zealand and all the... Okay, he actually is dead. So, yeah, man, that I don't know what to say. That sucks.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking tragic. He has a daughter, right? And like he was on another show that I hadn't watched, but I heard like nothing but like positive things about it. What was it called?
One of those New Zealand shows, because it's a couple of Chris Hemsworth before he became Thor was in one of those New Zealand shows that was right around the Disney era. I think it was like Operation Overdrive or something like that, and I happened to catch it just because I was watching another show of his. So yeah, I forgot which show it is, but yeah, I've heard it got pretty rave reviews for the most part and stuff. So
yeah, it's pretty sad, and they actually kind of also make it just extra salty that we get that all red ninja team up that Ninja did and Ninja Steel. You know what I mean?
Man,
it's just another missed opportunity.
Yeah, man, it's definitely unfortunate. Cause like I said, I think when we did Ninja Storm, I did say that was I actually enjoyed that season a lot, and I enjoyed him as the Red Ranger in that season. That was actually a season, like I said, that was the first full blown Disney season, and you could tell that cast had a lot of fun, essentially during that whole process of filming. So
much fun. They brought back everybody for the crossover. You can tell when a cast and the crew loved working with them, or a crew just had so much fucking fun, like they just found any reason to bring them all back for a crossover special. So yeah, it's like I said, it's fucking tragic, man. Like you said, we're all not gonna make it. We're all not gonna make it out of alive. But for that man to be so young, and like I didn't know it was a suicide. The news stories I was reading, they said it was they just said unknown causes and made it sound like it was sudden, like there was a biological thing. But to hear that, like, just fuck, man.
Yeah, that was one of the rumors. It was like, it could have been, he was like, he got shot this way, and then I heard suicide. I'm like, okay, which is it? Because this is like crazy.
Damn. Fuck. Well, if anyone's ever feeling any type of way about that, please reach out to anyone. There are people who do care and love you, whether you feel like it or not. So please get the help that you would need. Well, reach out to people. Like you're not as alone as you think you are. You're stronger than you might feel than you're feeling right now. So
yeah. In lighthearted news though, so apparently we might get that crossover. Austin St. John apparently is coming back for a huge crossover for Beast Morphers.
See, y'all getting my hopes up because I'm seeing motherfuckers online wilding out saying they spotted like 3 of the Dino Charge Rangers in New Zealand around the same time. Rumors of what's homeboy Connor McKnight from Dino Thunder.
Yeah.
They saying like he was supposed to appear at some conventions, but then suddenly he canceled a bunch of dates, and I'm like, y'all calm down. Don't get me excited. Don't do this to me right now.
I'm excited to see the original Red Ranger come back. I mean, at least it's not JDF, a non-JDF appearance. That's always great.
Like, don't get my hopes up. Don't do this to me.
Oh man, hey Joe, quick question. Have you been? I mean, I don't know if you have or not, but have you like occasionally seen anything from Beast Morphers on Nickelodeon?
I saw a couple clips online. Like, I always mean to watch them, but I forget when they're on. But I have like the Nick app, you know, like so I'll watch like clips and shit like that. I haven't seen the full episodes. I don't know the premise, but I saw a couple episodes where like they apparently have like robots, but then they also have like motorcycles that turn into fucking characters or something like that, and it gets like kind of strange for me.
Yeah.
I tend to gravitate more towards like the straightforward episodes or seasons where it's like, you know, 5 on a team.
Yeah.
They each have their fucking Zord. The Zord turns into the Mega. You know what I mean? Like when they start all like offbeat, I'm like, oh, dude, you know, like.
Yeah,
I kind of loses me.
Yeah, this season's actually been pretty good so far. Nickelodeon's doing that thing that I hate a lot, which is we're on hiatus, and I'm like, can you guys just show like 20 episodes? Like, I already hate the fact.
Nickelodeon might be the worst when it comes to scheduling episodes.
That has been the worst.
Cartoon Network, I think, holds the. Like Nickelodeon, they come up for that seat though. They're right up there behind them.
No, I gotta be honest with you. Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
I think you're right. Like, I think Cartoon Network, had the title when they were more prominent with like a lot of their shows. Like, it seems to me like Cartoon Network is kind of, I wouldn't say dying off, but kind of like, you know, slowed down a little bit. Whereas like Nickelodeon picked up like Ninja Turtles, they've got Power Rangers, they got this, but like. From what I understand, like the Power Rangers take these like long ass hiatus. Same with Ninja Turtles. Like they'll have 2 months with no episodes and then hit you with 3 and then another 3 months off. And from what I understand, they kind of do the same thing with Power Rangers.
Oh, dude, it's the worst because back in the day, like the Disney era, actually all the way through Disney era, you got the full season. The hiatus they might have been like midway through the summer. 2 months off, and then like when September hits, they finish off the rest of the season and stuff. Now it's like, okay, we're starting in February, and then we'll stop in April on hiatus, and then come back in late May, and then go on another hiatus, and then like finish off the season, the first half of the season, and then next year is the super version of that season. And I'm like, ugh. Like it just feels like it drags so much than it need to be.
Well, I mean, it just sounds like they're just like, I don't know. It's almost like what the fuck is the purpose of this wonky ass schedule?
I don't get it.
Because like, well, I mean, like I watch more like the Ninja Turtle show because I have like a season pass for that show, right? Yeah. So like usually when a new episode airs, I get it like the night before. I'll get an email and it'll tell me like a new episode is available.
Yeah.
So I'll get an email, I'll get the episode, but then on the app, they're already 5 episodes ahead of me. But then if I look online, there's nothing scheduled for like 4 months. Not 4 months, like 2 months. But like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is the thought process behind this kind of schedule for any show? Like,
I don't get
it's hard to follow a story.
Yeah, it's I don't understand that Nickelodeon's mentality on that unless they figure they need to drag it out to sell toys, which I mean I guess, but
well, that's defeating the purpose. Like, and
you know, forget about it.
Don't give me. Don't let me start because I'll.
Yeah, I know. It's just one of those things where I'm just like I don't understand Nickelodeon's logic because the old way of showing these shows was like the best way to do it and stuff, and
so like okay, so you know I'm watching Ninja Steel, right?
Yeah.
Only have 7 or 8 episodes I think to the end, and like it's really bothering me that the flow of the show is just fucking horrendous. And then just like as I'm watching, I'm thinking, okay, so I remember when we were watching, like when it was in syndication, you know, on Fox Kids, how, you know, there were certain things that we couldn't do because it was on like a regular ass network.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and now here we are in the golden opportunity where the show is actually on a cable network and it's not beholden to the same standards and practices that it was 10 years ago. But we're still doing the same shit that the show was doing 15, 12 years ago. Now, again, I'm not a fucking edgelord. Like, I'm not like, oh, I don't want the Power Rangers to be smoking and cursing and fucking. Like, no, I don't want that. But like, there are certain things that we can do now that we're not taking advantage of the medium. Not the medium, but the platform, rather, I should say. Yeah. And Nickelodeon is just like just butchering the season. And so I'm looking at this show, right? In between the show, I'm looking at commercials for the other Nickelodeon shows. And I really think that Nickelodeon does not understand or doesn't know or doesn't care to know how to handle this show, because I think for the life of it, it wants to treat it like any old regular Nick show, like Henry Danger or fucking the Thundermans or whatever. Yeah. But like it's not. It's its own separate, separate beast. Like I don't know.
Yeah. So also, Turbo Power Rangers coming on Blu-ray with some extras, apparently. So
man, I could not get into that fucking season.
I could. I mean, look, we talked about that season. I probably will buy it for the extras because it's coming straight from Shout Factory, and like I pre-ordered.
Praise be Shout Factory.
I pre-ordered the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger movie on Blu-ray, and there is a lot of extras on that one. Thank God.
I'll fuck with that.
Yeah.
So like when you say extras, like did they announce what they were?
For Turbo? Yeah. They just said extras. It hasn't confirmed what it is yet. So odds are it might
sounds like Funimation shit. Because Funimation says shit all the time too. Like, oh yeah, there are extras, and you get like 3 trailers from other shows you're not interested in, and maybe like you get a 2-minute segment with a voice actor. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I'm assuming this one is kind of like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers one, where there's like interviews with like the cast now, like today, like their retrospective. I think that one is like a 25-minute retrospective with the original cast from the first movie, so I'm assuming it might be the same thing for this one, So, we might.
I don't know. I wish Shout Factory do what Shout Factory does and like try to get some of the archival stuff from the movie that they do for other films. Like, wasn't there also a 30-minute like behind the scenes making of the aired on Fox right around the time it came out?
I would have figured they would.
Feel like there was.
I figured they would put
toss on some music video, because the Turbo thing had a full on blown music video I remember fucking watching on the box. I date myself.
I don't care to revisit Turbo. That it is amazing how
you're gonna do it. I don't half-ass it.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying it's amazing. I remember the huge rollout for Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, how, like, Saban was really like, I got this. We're doing this.
Oh, he wanted it so bad. Like, you remember that full page spread they had in Fox Kids magazine? You remember that shit?
Man. The rollout for that movie, and then the movie came out. Womp, womp, womp. I mean, I think that was around the time that I think the mainstream people were kind of like, oh, Power Rangers still on there. Okay. Like, the hype wasn't as huge as it was when the original movie came out,
And then, like, I don't know, like, there's an analysis to be had here from the transition from Zeo to Turbo. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I like Car Ranger. Like, I've sung the praises of Car Ranger 1,000 times on this podcast, and again, it's still dirt ass cheap on Amazon.
Yeah.
Go watch that show. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like going from the technology from Zeo to Turbo, and like I really wish they had
on that one.
Yeah, just like what the fuck.
Lastly, this was kind of a big deal, and I think this is Boom finally moving past it. We're getting a graphic novel. This time it's Corona Andros versus the 6 Psycho Rangers.
I'm in.
Yeah, I am 100% in. Yeah, this is the Power Rangers: The Psychopath, which I thought was actually pretty dope, because I'm curious, how do you bring back all 6 Psycho Rangers? We already know what happened to the other 5, and we saw the green one. That got destroyed. So I'm kind of curious how all 6 of them come back, and it's not data cards this time.
You know what? I'll give Boom this. Again, it's been documented on this podcast how I feel about their OC's donut steals.
Yeah.
But like they stick to their guns. They're like, you gonna like these motherfuckers. Please believe. Like you're gonna like Psycho Green. Goddamn it.
Yeah, I mean, as we talked about before with Soul of the Dragon, I'm glad. You know what? I wouldn't mind seeing graphic novels of different seasons and story scenarios. So if this is their kind of start of doing graphic novels of different Power Ranger stuff, I'm fine with it.
I said on the podcast, man. Like, I think they're leaving on the table. Like, there should be like an anthology book that's like Power Rangers: The Brave and the Bold. Like, why does that not exist? Why are we not getting that?
I think this might be it. This might be their Brave and the Bold, where they're like, all right, we're going to do another adventure. This time it's Corona and Andros, and it's like, all right, so what's the next one? And it'd be like Doggy Kruger and his wife on a like honeymoon adventure or some shit.
I mean, just give it face, neck, and chest. Just give it to me. Let's go. Let's do this shit.
Yeah. So, side note. During our little hiatus, one Mr. Blake Foster ran amok of the fandom and caught a lot of shit.
That's a nice way of putting it. That's a very mild way of putting had a can for that man's head.
Woo! I never look. You know, if you're on Twitter, you see a lot of people coming for different celebs when they get out of pocket. But this one was just hilarious, just because you see it in Power Ranger fandom. I mean, last time I saw this is when Benta was on his bullshit, stealing the banner at Power Morphicon. That was the last time the fandom went in on somebody. But this was like, oh, okay.
And then, don't you just love how he fucking doubled down on like a jackass?
Didn't even say, I'm sorry, my bad for making fun of the guy. Like, yo, you
I did. I'm like, Blake. Okay, so for those who don't know, so the Go Around and Beast Mode was announced, and they posted a picture, and Blake was like, I'm paraphrasing, but like, this dude looks lame. He doesn't look like a Sixth Ranger. Blah blah. This, that, and the other. And the fandom got the pitchforks and the torches. And they said, you will not slander this man's name, and they came for his ass. So when they were coming for his ass, go ahead.
Which is ironic, because I'm like, hey, Blake, you were the kid Blue Ranger and caught so much shit from folks back in the day in Turbo. I'm just saying.
I was just going to say, weren't you the OG controversial motherfucker? Like, weren't you the 6-year-old Power Ranger? How the fuck you have the audacity, the gall?
Everybody back in the day at Turbo was on some Michael Jordan fuck them kids when it came to Blake. Dead serious. Even I was for a hot second. I was like, what the fuck is this kid as a Blue Ranger? And then I was like, all right, I'm fine with it. Why am I hating? You know, I'm just jealous.
I'm like, you would think because of his experience, you think he would cape or be a little more empathetic. But no, you know, assholes gonna be assholes, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah. So he's been pretty radio silent now, and you know, stories came out about him and stuff. You know, to the extent of like, you know, things that goes down at the conventions when he's around the other Rangers and stuff. I'm like, oof, that's gonna be awkward next time he's at Power Morphicon. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you do know he was caping for JDF for a minute.
Oh yeah.
Coming for that head.
Oh yeah.
So you know, like I said, I didn't get too deep into it. I just kind of stayed on the periphery because I didn't want to catch that fire. I was laughing my ass off.
I was watching, had the popcorn ready and everything, just watching like this is hilarious and stuff. So.
Oh man. Yeah, even then they got even better when the other actors like started jumping in too. Like, oh, this is moist.
Again, this is why I say that Power Morphicon is going to be awkward and stuff. Which I'm waiting for the next location for Power Morphicon Express. I'm praying to God it's somewhere on the East Coast, because dear God, I want to go to that so bad. I heard the one in Texas was actually really good. So,
word.
Yeah. So today we're here to talk about Ultraman that came on the Netflix series. Huge show. A lot of people were talking about it. Some people were thrown off a little bit in terms of the premise. I got thrown off a little bit until like I started doing research on it and stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, that's okay. Now I understand it now. But I was digging the deep cuts, particularly with this connection to the OG Ultraman, which piqued my interest even more, and I think it probably piqued a lot of interest, which is why I got Joe on here, because Joe, I didn't know you watched the original Ultraman, right?
Yeah, I used to have when I was like a really young kid, I used to have this neighbor who was from Japan, and his family, like they lived out here obviously, but they would go back to Japan for like the summer, and he would always bring like the craziest shit back, like on VHS and toys. That's how I got into like the Saint Saiyans and all that kind of shit, because he would bring back those like OG Japanese figures, with like 800 pieces, you know. Mm-hmm. And he's the one that introduced me to Ultraman, and it was before Power Rangers and any of that shit. I mean, obviously this is like, you know, VHS, so it already aired.
Yeah.
But I was watching it for the first time, and that was kind of like my first introduction into like, holy shit, like he's this dude that gets big and fights monsters, and I love the original Ultraman. Like, loved it.
Yeah. But yeah, this one is based off the manga. It is. What's interesting about the show, and it threw me off, was I was kind of like you, Joe, where it was like, "Where's the giant monsters?" and it's like, "Oh, there's no giant monsters." But I was fine with the premise of like they're kind of like he's Ultraman, like he has the power, the instinct, the instinctive powers of the OG Ultraman in terms of like, I guess his strength and stuff, his durability, but he has a suit that kind of enhances it, which I was fine with and stuff. But I know this was definitely something that threw a lot of people off because they were like, "Where's the giant things?" But there is monsters in here, but like I said, they're about the size of humans or to the extent of like 8 foot tall tops. At one point when they're fighting the mini Godzilla type monster in this film,
that fucking guy.
Yeah, the kaiju, so to speak, and stuff. But it's an interesting premise. Like I said, Free Comic Book Day. I was mad somebody ganked all the Ultraman manga because I was really trying to jump in that because it's rare that I buy manga like that. So this was one of those like I actually kind of want to buy it now. So hopefully I can go back and get it. But since Prime is here also too, he's more of the resident Ultraman expert than I am. So you want to give people kind of like the primer for this show, so to speak.
Oh, well, I wouldn't say I'm an Ultraman expert. Like, Ultraman is one of my blogs. Like, I watch a lot of Ultraman, and I know a lot about Ultraman, but I don't watch, like, nearly enough that I would consider myself an expert.
By default, that puts you as a connoisseur between me and you and Joe here. Let's be real about this. I'm just saying.
So.
I'm just getting into it. You were like, yeah, you gotta watch Ultraman Geek, Chris. I'm like, okay. All right. So.
And Geek is the shit. And, where to even start? So like I knew this Netflix anime was going to be based on the manga, and I had bought the manga 4 or 5 volumes before the show was even like on Netflix. So I was like, oh man, Ultraman manga domestic, hell yeah, I'm gonna buy that shit.
Yeah.
So I bought them, but if you were to see my back catalog of stuff I need to read, you would probably openly weep. I just have stacks of books that I hide around the house. I was like, this is my master plan. Like my back catalog is so massive. What I do is I break it off, and I have like stacks around the house in different places where I normally hang around.
Yeah.
Or on like a lazy Saturday afternoon, I'll just take one and read it and put it on the shelf. But it's gotten so out of hand. I've gotten so many stacks around the house that I'm hiding from them. And in the stacks are the Ultraman mangas. After watching the show, I decided to go back and read them. And it's fucking good. I have the first 5 volumes. I need to go and get the rest. I think it's up to 12 volumes in English right now.
Yeah.
I think. Probably. Anyway. So here's the basic story of the anime / manga. So it follows the basic track of the Ultraman, the original OG show, where a warrior from the Land of Light comes and he bonds with a science patrol officer. He becomes Ultraman to battle off alien invaders and keep the Earth safe. So the last episode of Ultraman, he debonds from blanking on Hayata's first name. Damn it. What is Hayata's first name? Shin. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So he debonds from Shin. He debonds from Shin and goes off into space. And so the manga / anime picks up years after, where Earth is living in peace and there are no more kaiju attacking Earth. And people are starting to view Ultraman as figure of legend. There's a museum dedicated to him. The Science Patrol, Science Police have been decommissioned. I mean, air quotes, decommissioned.
Yeah.
And there's a museum dedicated to Ultraman's honor or whatever. So Ultraman Shin now has a son, Shinjiro. And we find out that being bonded to Ultraman, Shin has developed what's called the Ultraman factor, which is, superhuman strength, speed, agility, and all that shit. And he's passed it on to his son Shinjiro. So now there are some, let's just say, alien machinations going on that causes a need for there to be another Ultraman. So it turns out that the SSP isn't decommissioned. They've been developing Ultraman suits and studying and preparing for the time when aliens are going to come back. A big badass alien comes back, and so Shinjiro is forced to live up to his legacy and become Ultraman. Air quotes, Ultraman and Iron Man and armor.
And one of the kaiju that Shin fought back in the day comes back and helps the SSP, essentially. Which
Mm-hmm.
that kind of fucking threw me off for a loop. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And I'm like, okay, wow, this is interesting. Yeah, this whole show, I think it was 12 episodes. It goes by pretty quick because it's like 30 minutes. Well, I think it's like 20 minutes per episode.
I thought it was like 40.
No, it's hella short.
Yeah, it's pretty short. I would say about 30 tops and stuff. Cause
now, if you watching it all back to back, and so if you watching it all back to back, it feels like a fucking movie.
Yeah, it really does, because it's like a lot of stuff that happens in the show, especially with some of the kaiju. One of the kaiju in particular, voiced by Stephen Bloom, we're thinking, oh, he's the main bad guy, and then it turns out he's not the bad guy, so to speak. He's actually helping out, and there's another character that's actually the last monster that Shin fought at the end of Ultraman. He pops back with like an Ultraman suit. Which, I mean, did the manga ever go into how he got the suit?
I'm not that far in the manga, and the part of the manga I'm at, I'm where Ace first pops up. Okay,
so yeah, they.
No, go ahead.
No, you got it.
No, I was gonna say. So what really threw me for a loop when I was reading the manga and watching the anime. When I first watched the anime, then went back and read the manga. There's like a question I was wondering, so I was kind of confused. Like, so what about the other Ultraman? Like, what about where are all the like rest of them? Because like Dan is in the anime is supposed to be Dan. That's who Ultra 7 from the old TV show, and I'm like, but that's not what Ultra 7 looks like. And I'm like, where's the Ultra 7 actual Ultraman? So I'm like, do the other shows still take place? And then I read the manga. The manga, like in the first volume, it went, the other shows aren't canon to this story. And I was like, okay, thank you. I was so fucking confused.
Yeah, I was too. Cause I was like, where's Ultraman Geed? Where's Tiga? What's happening here? It's like, nope.
Like, hey, those didn't have it. So I'm like, oh, so we're doing the Godzilla method. Okay, cool. I can work with that.
Yeah. But yeah, I was digging it. What was it? That's the cat's name. Bemuyu.
Belumayer.
Yeah, Bemuyu. God damn it.
Belumayer.
Whatever his name is. However you say it. Yeah, he was the one that Shin fought back in the day in his monster form, and then he pops back up. It's kind of human sized now, and I was like, huh, that's kind of interesting. And he gets his like part of his mask blown off at one point by Shinjiro, and then we see kind of like, oh, he's an actual kaiju under there.
Now what?
Oh, go ahead.
No, just go ahead. You get it.
Yeah, so I never, like, again, that's why I wanted to read the manga. I'm hoping if they do a season 2, that'd be cool too, but I'm curious to see if the manga actually kind of explains, like, his whole aspect of it. Because at first it looked like he was going to be the bad guy too, and they kind of do this a lot. The whole episode kind of is a lot of misdirection in terms of who's the bad guy and who isn't. Big time. So it's kind of like one of those kind of numbers where you're just like, all right, I'm fine with this world building. Because, I mean, really, the reality is it feels like this first season is pretty much just world building towards something bigger.
That's how I took it.
I mean, in a sense, yeah. Like, for the most part, it's like it's not a so the manga and anime, they pretty much follow the same beats and like the same major beats, and they were, it hits some of the same things, but like there are certain things that are altered, or certain events happen in a different kind of order. You know what I mean? Like
Dan is an actual kaiju instead of a human, like in a Netflix series, or at least as far as we know, he's human in a Netflix series. I don't know if they.
I mean, that's what we're assuming. Again, I'm just where Ace just pops up this time. Like one example is like when Barrymere first shows up. No, it's all good. It's all good. So, like, for example, when Barrymere first shows up, like he has a stage 1 that in the but in the anime he shows up first in his stage 2 form, and things like the storyline with the alien prince who's based on an old Ultraman monster. I call him Pigman. What they call him in the anime? Is it Ikaruga or some shit like that? Ikaruga. What was it called?
I think it's Ikaruga.
Yeah, something. Yeah. So he his whole line plays out kind of the same, but like kind of a whole lot different toward the end of the climax. Like certain things happen in a reverse kind of order,
Yeah.
it's interesting from that aspect. So it's not a perfect one for one. It hits like the same huge beats, but like if you watch the anime or read the manga and watch the anime, like there are some differences to keep you engaged in both. Like it cuts some characters and some events. But anyway, I'm jumping ahead of myself.
Yeah. So for you, Joe, like, you know, just the overall kind of like your take of the whole series. I mean, what was your kind of opinion overall about it?
I mean, I enjoyed it. I was excited for it when it was first announced. I think they announced it like, almost a year ago, 8 months to a year or something like that. Like they had showed like a teaser image and just said, you know, coming to Netflix. And, you know, I mean, again, like when I watched the original Ultraman on VHS and all that shit, I never really followed like every single spin-off and, you know, movie. Like I would keep up here and there, but I've always liked the character. And I honestly was not aware of the whole like sun path. I mean, I remember when Ultraman, when the alien basically like left him, kind of debonded. Like I remember hearing about that, but I had no idea that like, you know, he had a son and it passed the gene on to him. So like when I watched the first, when I saw the teaser, actually, I didn't know that this was a new Ultraman. I thought it was the same one, different look for like a new era kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And when I read up on it, that's when I was like, oh shit. Like I didn't know it was his son. So I kind of went into this completely blind. I mean, I knew, you know, enough about the original Ultraman, obviously, like I said, but like, this kind of seemed more Power Ranger-y to me, and there was a team.
Yeah.
You know, not really a team per se, but like there was multiple iterations of him. And I like the main Ultraman, Shinjiro, but like there's something about seeing his face in that suit that like turns me off. And that like he looks like he's about 7. You know, the way they animate him. And then when he's in the suit, he's just this fucking like awesome, you know.
Yeah.
They're going, and I realize they're going for like the Iron Man effect with like the, you know, the face, the mask popping off, and you can see the dude and everything. But I'm like, maybe make him look a little older. Like
I think it's the production IG animation style that kind of throws people off too a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
I was just gonna say, like when it's animated like the suits and the monsters, that shit looks awesome.
Oh,
but like when it has like animate people, like what the fuck?
Yeah, no, I agree. Like you're 100% right. Like Ultraman, the monsters, the action, the whole is fucking outstanding. It's like outstanding. The flesh and blood characters.
Two people sitting at the table talking to each other. That shit just looks fucking weird. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, it's very like it's just weird. It's like very K-poppy to me. Like they're just done up. They have these giant
it's kind of like the new Ghost in the Shell a little bit when they were using I think didn't Production IG do a Ghost in the Shell season?
Oh, did they do that one that had? Did they do that movie where Misanaki looked like a damn actual real doll?
Yeah,
was that?
Yeah, I think it might have been them. But yeah, you nailed it 100%. Because like I said, I like the animation style, but like you get some of the characters like, why does Kusanagi look like a 12-year-old kid? Like, this is weird.
Like, what? Like, why does she look like a fucking marionette? Like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah, so, I definitely, Because you know what's funny, Joe? Like, I saw you put that on Twitter, and I was like, I don't understand what Joe's meaning. And then, like, now that you're saying it, it's like, okay, now that makes sense. I see what he means now.
Yeah, like him in the suit is fucking outstanding. And, like, especially the transformation that they gave him, it's very, like, you know, like, I love what they did with Voltron, where they would show Voltron, like, everything joining together. Like, I love shit like that. Even when they kind of redid He-Man, you know, 100 years ago, like, I love seeing that transformation. So the transformation that they gave Ultraman, like, there's some shit in this show that is, like, absolutely fucking outstanding. Animation-wise, design-wise. But that's why, like, when you see Shinjiro or even, like, his dad, I'm like, they just look... They look like they belong in a different series. Like, it looks like they almost look like fucking Pokemon trainers. Like, they kind of look, honestly, like they look stereotypical to me. They've all got fucking blown out hair. They've all got these giant eyes. Like, it's just, it's kind of off-putting when you look at Ultraman, who to me, I don't know if you guys like, if you look at the design of Ultraman, that's very Dead Space to me.
Oh, yeah.
If you look at that fucking armor, that is very Isaac Clarke, Dead Space, like, down to, like, the fucking spinal cord lighting up and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a fuck what anybody says. If you're telling me that they pulled no reference from Dead Space or vice versa, fuck off.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the show, no, I mean, I really, really enjoyed it. Like, again, I didn't know that his son had, passed the gene down and everything. The only thing I kind of like, I do miss, I always liked like the uniqueness of Ultraman. Like, he was this alien, host, kind of like a Venom in a way.
Yeah.
And, getting big and fighting the monsters and shit. Like, that's just kind of what I grew up with. So like, I did miss that element. And there's something about like him being able to put a suit on, like he becomes more like Iron Man and less like Ultraman to me. I know he's got super strength and durability and he can fly and all that shit, but like he relies heavily on that suit. Yeah. And there were certain episodes where I really liked, like when he first, like I love when they explained to him how to do the Specium Ray.
Yeah.
Lock this into this. I was like, oh, fuck me, man. And when he did it, I was like screaming. Like, he did it! So, like, shit like that I really, really like, but just the nostalgia of me is like, come on, man, just fucking go big. You know what I mean? Like, figure that shit out. Like, just fucking figure it. Like, it's a show. Figure it out.
I'm hoping. Like I said, I haven't read the manga yet, so it's like that would be if they figure out how to do big somewhere later than the manga. I'll be like, all right, cool.
Now, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, but if I was. Based on what I've read in the manga and based on what I've read from like the creators, because at the end of each volume of the manga they have what they call a bonus manga where they talk about some of the behind the scene things and how Subaru Productions like let them in. Like when the manga came out, like they were let behind the scenes and they were one of the first few people to see Ultraman Orb before it was released to the public.
Oh shit.
So so they're just talking about some of their experiences and like some of their story ideas, whatever, and how they talked about how they went with the decision to have this be its own continuity because Subaru wanted a sequel to Ultraman. It was like, oh, so we wanted a sequel series, and they said no, we want a direct sequel to the original show, and that's why the other shows aren't canon to this manga. So they were talking about how they were talking about, because originally what they were going to do, they were going to have it be like a like they're going to do they're kind of like their own little Ultraman. So they came with them with that edict, so they had to scrap their designs and start from scratch, and so, like, if I had to be a betting man, based on the things that they've said in the behind-the-scenes stuff, and based on how some of the things are going on in the manga, like, I feel like we're only a matter of time before Shin gets his own Ultraman transformation. And I'm basing this on, so if they were there for right around, Ultraman Orb, and then saw some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, that also means they probably saw some of the behind-the-scenes stuff from Ultraman Gi. And, Ultraman Gi's story is, even though he's a human, he's the son of Ultraman. Spoilers. He's just the son of Ultraman Belia, and so if you're if you have Ultra DNA, you're going to naturally have an Ultraman form. So I'm thinking maybe Shinjiro is going to have a more traditionalist Ultraman form going on. Again, I haven't read all the manga. I'm avoiding spoilers for the manga like the plague. I could be dead fucking wrong, and I'm just basing this on speculation.
But side note, I kind of semi-hate you, Prime, for liking the Watch Toku app, which I'm like, let me get this right. They got a Toku streaming thing that has all the Ultraman. God damn it.
They fucking do. It's on Amazon Prime. You can get it through your Amazon Prime subscription.
I actually read about that. I haven't looked into it, but I read about that.
Yeah, I was looking through it, and I was like, oh, they got Ultraman Orb, Ultraman X, Ultraman Leo, Ultraman...
Yeah,
Mobius.
I mean...
So I was like,
see, I all that shit kind of passed me by. Like, now that the show has aired, I did start looking in, like, on Amazon. I started looking at the books, like, oh, fuck it, maybe I should catch up. And because I am interested. I mean, I'm interested in the character, and, like, I never really cared for the fact that they call 3 different people Ultraman. You know what I mean? It's like, at least when Iron Man and War Machine came out, at least they gave him his own identity. So, like, even in the show, when they were like, you're Ultraman, and we're Ultramen. And I'm like, oh, God damn it. Like, give him a different fucking name.
But I like the
fact
that
Shinjiro,
though. Yes, Shinjiro, basically, You could pretty
have
much
different names.
Yeah, but I like the fact that ultimately though, when you have all three of them together, you can tell Shinjiro is pretty much the king dingling of all three of them. Like, don't get it twisted. I love Dan and the way he uses that sword, like basically samurai-ish and stuff. But it's like, yo, when it comes down to Shinjiro, it's like, yo, Shinjiro basically is wrecking people for free. Essentially.
Well, I just mean like in the sense that like they have similar aesthetics. Like,
yeah.
Obviously, he can fly, and he seems to be the strongest of the three, and, the other kid's a fucking cyborg, basically, but, like, aesthetically, and I know that I forgot the third kid's name, the little blonde kid. What's the fucking cyborg kid's name?
Ace.
Ace.
Ace. So, wait, so the guy with the sword is
Dan.
Ultra 7.
Yeah, Ultra 7, that's Dan.
Dan?
Yeah, Dan is Ultra 7. Seiji is Ace. Ultraman Ace.
Okay, so Seiji, and then, okay.
Yeah.
So, I get that he's basing the look on, he's kind of like a fanboy, basically.
Yeah.
So I get that. But, like, and again, I mean, it's only the first season, so they have, I'm kind of hoping that now that Voltron has kind of run its course, that this could be the new flagship animated series for Netflix, because I think it's a different look. It's a different tone, and it's based on a property that a fair amount of people are aware of. So, like, I'm really hoping that this gets a second and third and, season like Voltron did. But, there's things that I hope that they introduce and they tweak in the second and third seasons if we get that.
Yeah.
But, like, by and large, my biggest gripe was, the human characters were just, they all look the same age.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this: when Shin and his son and Shinjiro are talking, and they have the fucking Ultraman auras above them, I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yep.
Like it was like the third episode or something like that, when they have like the auras like facing off. I was like, "Oh fuck me, man!" That's so like they did enough fan service here and there throughout the season to where you were like, "Oh, motherfucker." And then when his dad started mixing it up with that suit, I was like, he's going to go fucking big. That's it. He's going to go big. He's going to find a way. The fucking alien's going to come back. Some shit's going to happen. Like, come on. He's got to become Ultraman again. Sure enough, it didn't happen. But, like, they did enough fan service in the season to keep up someone like me who hasn't watched it in, 400 years. So I guess it's a very roundabout way of saying, like, I really enjoyed it, and I definitely think it kind of had like a Men in Black vibe to it too.
Oh yeah. The whole aspect of like the kaiju, I thought that was actually pretty interesting. Of like a lot of the kaiju are hiding in plain sight, and then they have their own little area that they can all like be together and stuff, or they can blend in with other people. And it's like, oh, okay, this is actually interesting. And like I said, the little mini 8-foot tall kaiju Godzilla thing, I thought that was just kind of funny. They threw that in there. I was like, oh, I guess that's our giant kaiju. That's about as big as you're gonna get for right now. So, all right.
Yeah, and a lot of
one thing they left out from the one thing they left out from the anime is that the Godzilla kaiju, I think that's Red King, right?
Yeah, Black. No,
was it Red King?
King? I think Black King.
Black King?
Yeah, Black
King. Well, he's Jack's partner, right?
Yeah.
And in the manga, he has an image inducer where he appears in the form of a small boy, and it's fucking hilarious as shit. It's funny as fuck.
Are you talking about the guy that got his fucking head cut off?
I'm trying to think.
The Godzilla-looking fool?
Wait, I think we're talking about two different ones. I'm talking about Jack's sparring partner.
Yeah, Black King was the other. Yeah, Black King.
Wait, which one got his head cut off?
I think it was the other one that he fought. That not Black King. It was was it Choju?
That motherfucker looks like Godzilla to me.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, he was talking all that shit. Remember, they were in the city. He's talking all that shit, and then fucking.
Yeah, I think it was him, because it was him, and there was another kaiju that they were fighting, that he cut off his arm or whatever and shit, and then he finally beheaded. I don't think it was Black King. It was somebody else that he was fighting. God damn it! What the hell was the name of that thing?
Fuck.
Shit.
This is my fault. I only watched it once, and I jumped and read the manga. So fuck me.
Well, wait a minute. In the manga, does he become less reliant on the suit in terms of power, or is that just kind of the way it is?
So far in the manga that I've read, like he doesn't do that. I think he does that berserk burst thing like just once, and he more or less relies on his actual like skill to fight.
Okay, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah. If I remember, he only does the berserk thing at the one time. With the part I made, he's only done it once.
Yeah, I think the Ace Killer was the one that he did it, because I think he did it. No, he actually did it twice, because he did it the first time, and then he did it the second time against Ace Killer. So yeah, that was interesting. Hold up, which one was it? Alien. That's what it was. The fucking alien that had the two guns on his arms. That's the one he beheaded.
The one that was sucking up people?
Yeah, was it Odysseus or whatever his name is and stuff? That was the one that he fought and beheaded. That one. Because that was the one that was going around killing people and stuff, and then he fought him and cut off both of his arms and then beheaded him. So...
Wait, who's the one that he learned how to fly? Because there was that Godzilla-looking fucker that he fought in the middle of the city.
Yeah, Black King.
When he learned how to fly.
Yeah, Black King was the one he learned how to fly. You had
That's the Black King. I could have swore he cut his fucking head off. I could have swore he did.
Odysseus was the one that he cut his head off. Because it was like he was fighting Black King, and then Odysseus came out of nowhere because he was chasing after him. Yeah, so yeah, they both. It was kind of like both fights intertwined with one another, and it's like, okay, I guess they're fighting it off. All right, cool, bet.
I mean, I don't mean this in a bad way. I don't mean this in a bad way, but some of those fights, like, kind of just bleed together because I'm pumped full of adrenaline just watching them.
Oh, they really do, because it's just like, you said, it's like a movie where it's like, all right, monster of the day, who's he fighting now? It's like, all right, cool, bet, let's go.
I'll tell you what, though, man, like, he needs to get some of that Stark/Wakanda tech with that nano shit, because him having to, like, call in the suit, you know what I mean?
I'm like, sure he's gonna probably eventually do it. Dan, I can understand, because Dan is a regular dude, so I get he needs a truck. But yeah, I can definitely see that happening and stuff at some point.
Yeah, get that Black Panther nanotech.
I will say this too, like, I really appreciate how the show keeps the Ultraman violence to like perfect levels, because if you ever watched like OG Ultraman, like they did exterminate with extreme prejudice.
Look, that might have been the
extreme prejudice.
That might have been the 70s, but yo, they did not waste any time of showing decapitation and blood splattering out of it. So I love the whole hokey giant thing back in the day, but it was still gruesome as hell. It's like, Ultraman snapped that monster's neck. I believe he did. Okay.
Did he just slice that monster in half from the grind up? Well, yes, he did.
It might have been cut 15 times to show him cutting off the head, but violence.
I agree with you guys though. I actually like that. You know how like they tend to kind of like downplay shit in animation.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I guess not in fucking Japan, but typically like an anime. But like. For American audiences, let's say they tend to downplay any kind of violence in animation, and it was nice to see like he wasn't fucking around.
Oh, dude, like Agent of Dad at one point when they're at that concert when he killed the freaking Prince, and I'm like, he really stabbed him. Okay, well, now that happened. So
yeah, like it wasn't like dumbed down like off-camera violence. It was like. I don't know, it's weird to say this when you're talking about an animated show, but it was like well-placed violence that helped, tell the severity of the situation of the story. It wasn't like, violence for violence sake. It was like, this guy's going to fucking kill everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And he did kill some people, and, like, I'm like, oh, fuck, cool. Like, they didn't dumb it down for Americans. Like, ooh, don't show anything because it's, whatever, PG.
Yeah, but I thought what was interesting too was like the whole thing with Ace Killer and Ace, that whole little story, because like the fact that like they put a lot of emphasis on the plane exploding, and we're thinking Bemullier was behind it all, and then come to find out he was protecting Ace Killer. So now we're like, okay, so what's Bemullier's like ultimate motive here? Because I don't understand. Because again, this is a guy that fought Shinjiro's dad back in the day, and now he's helping. So what's his end game? And I'm hoping if they do a season 2, they address that, because that left it out. That left it open, because again, the show did a pretty good job of kind of like blurring the line of who's the real bad guy and who isn't. Interspliced with all this like monster of the day stuff. Because like I said again, every episode just bleeds into one another. And you're like, okay, fights, and it's like, all right, cool. All right.
I couldn't tell you who the fuck the villain was.
Yeah, until you get Ace Killer at the end. It's like, all right, cool. He's the bad guy. Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, halfway you're like, oh, he's the bad guy. No, wait, hold on a second. He's dead.
Yeah.
Okay, well, no, he just did like a turn, so he's not the bad guy. And then like, oh, okay. Now, who the fuck is, no, he's helping him, so he's not the bad guy. Like, it's very twisty.
I mean, and I like I said, I still get thrown off seeing Edo, that alien, that threw me off, him in a business suit. It's like, whoa, hold up, dude. Weren't you a giant kaiju and now you're in a business suit? Okay. All right, cool. I'm fine with this.
Yeah, that was a little strange.
Yeah, like I said, I am the whole idea of the Star Cluster Alliance having a kind of, they have the thing with Earth, and I'm like, okay, I want to see more of, like, how did this spread past Earth, and do other aliens are they cool with this? Clearly there are some aliens that aren't really, cool with this, as we saw with, some of the fights that they had, but yeah, man, this first season definitely kind of satiates your hunger, like, I want to see more, because I gotta be real, that final fight with Ace Killer and his crew was actually pretty dope.
I mean, and I might go on a limb by myself here, but it's like one of the best animated fights this year.
Yeah. I mean, so much. Look, I popped when fucking Dan asks Homeboy, yo, give me a weapon. Any weapon. He's like, all right, I got a sword coming, and it just pops in like the fucking Power Sword and Power Rangers. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm fine with this. Perfectly fine. Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool shit, man. Like, they did a lot of fucking cool shit, like, surprisingly well.
I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, well, I mean, when you
I'm just
have
thinking about
armor like that, and you're animating basically like high level or fast paced martial arts, it's easy to make it look bad.
And
you know
can
what I
actually
mean?
see,
because,
and you actually can see the fights and them sword fighting and the kicks and everything. That was actually pretty amazing too.
Yeah, like, I mean, Iron Man doesn't fight like that, right? Like, Iron Man's not a martial artist. He's, a brawler or, like, a range fighter, let's call him. So, like, it's interesting to me how, like, when you look at the design of the suit, you're like, oh, okay, like, there's different materials at the joints than at like, his shins or his elbows or whatever. And then, like, his spine looks a certain way, like, and then when he's fighting, it's like, God, this doesn't look cheap. Like, it actually looks like he's throwing a high kick, wearing a fucking suit of armor, and it looks kind of legit. It looks pretty fucking legit. So, I mean, shit, dude, I've seen fucking martial arts cartoons where the guy was wearing pajamas and it looked bad. I mean, and you're animating aliens and shit, and it's like, fuck, it looks good.
I mean, hell, I know Shin's dad had the suit, but old man Shin can still still got some get up and go to him.
If I curve Game of Thrones, what makes you think I'm not going to curve Ultraman? Even though I stand by what I said, I only seen 2 episodes, man. Oh, God. No, I'm mad. I'm legit interested in Ultraman. I only got to watch 2 episodes. And then what happened last night? Game of Thrones happened last night. You know I didn't watch no fucking Ultraman last night.
Hey, I thought you might have. That's why I added you. I was like,
I woke up this morning. Full disclosure, how you doing there, Prime? I woke up this morning shitting out.
Joe's on air too, by the way.
Joe's on here too. Yeah, I was shitting like crazy this morning. I wasn't even thinking about Ultraman. I was thinking about, God, I have to go into work today, and all I got was response was, "We got some ginger ale over there." I've been drinking that all day. I haven't been thinking about Ultraman the whole day. Hold on, where's part, Chris? I have talked to you several times today, and I have not heard the word Ultra or Man come out your mouth once. So it's your fault. Ha!
Wow. That's a lot.
God damn.
That's a lot to say. But full disclosure though, D did say he liked the first 2 episodes, so that's 2.
I really did. I really enjoyed the animation. I really enjoyed that there's backstory, because every time I see Ultraman, I only see the fights. You know what I mean? I only see the fights. Really get into the lore of it and all that, and the fact that they took their time to make this lore and like I said, and the animation is pretty to look at. The only thing I will say is, well, of course, the sun was going to take over, yada yada yada. But who gives a shit? It's cool. I actually kind of like it. I wanted to see the rest of it. I never got to.
Yeah, we were kind of chatting a little bit like how Shinjiro's dad had some get up and go to him. I'm like, oh shit, old man fucking got some moves.
Yo, I'm mad as a motherfucker the whole entire time. His glasses did not fall off while fighting my man. That is amazing. That is Japanese patience that Americans don't have.
Hold on, man. Now, as a man who wears glasses and has gotten into plenty of fights in this day, them shits will stay when they got to.
Man, look, you know what? See, that shows me that I wasn't meant for glasses because when all right, two things. When I did wear glasses, I got into one fight and I thought I was fucking Charlie off a fucking Street Fighter, and I took them all full cool.
You get your ass whooped, D?
Huh?
Get your ass whooped, that AD?
You know what? I got into several fights that year. I cannot deny I got my ass whooped. I can't say I did. God, I was a junior, wasn't I? I was a junior when I got it. Yeah, I lost. I lost.
I don't know what it is about Japanese fights and stuff, because Joe was mentioning like the fluidity of it looks really well, and like it's a side tangent, but it's actually pretty relevant. Me and D were talking about the Yakuza series and how like you get this 65-year-old bad guy of the game. Him and fucking Kazuma are fighting off. He takes off his shirt. The dude got a fucking 8-pack. And I'm like, how does this 65-year-old dude got a goddamn 8-pack? This doesn't make any sense.
Fucking protein, my dude. Protein.
Dude, that's not that, man. That's 80 push-ups when you wake up and 80 push-ups before you go to bed. That's exactly what that
80?
Is.
80? You better put 3 zeros at the end of that shit.
Exactly.
It just could be. It just could be that good Japanese. That could be.
Yeah. I was saying, I'm half his age. No, I'm half his age. I ate a fuck ton of protein. If I did 80 push-ups, 160 a day, I don't look like that.
I'm mad as hell that he had giddy up though, but he still had the power in him. Like I said, and also I never knew that, like the whole full lore of it. I didn't know that Ultraman was just a regular ass Japanese guy. I didn't know that. I really didn't know.
Yeah.
Yes, no, he's bonded with a space alien. So, great thing about this show, I don't know if we said this on the Jump Street, but like you don't have to know anything about the lore because, like we say, it takes place in its own continuity. It's separate. The only thing you might need to know is just some basic elements from the first show, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, and like a lot of the other like Ultraman 7 is an homage to actual Ultraman 7, if I remember correctly, in a sense. So a lot of it is, like I said, it takes its own thing. But like I said,
Oh, go ahead. Reimagining. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, reimagining, so to speak. So, look, like you said, Joe, with Voltron out the way, this does kind of open it up to do another nostalgia thing, for them to really like, all right, we're gonna go full tilt in Ultraman. Let's do this and stuff. Because
I mean, I've already given up hope about He-Man. So,
I mean, She-Ra's close, and that's
what. I'm not giving up hope on He-Man yet.
The She-Ra people seem very coy about that shit. Like, we're not gonna touch He-Man, and I'm like,
well, here's what I think it is. Because if I'm not mistaken, isn't She-Ra and He-Man, aren't they licensed differently? So, like the people doing She-Ra and the Princess of Power, they have the license to She-Ra and her realm, but not the entire Masters.
Yes and no. I read up about this. So if you notice that She-Ra and the Princesses of Power are treated completely different than the original She-Ra. So it's almost like She-Ra, the original show, is its own thing, and this is it's not like you wouldn't even call this a reimagining anymore because it's. I was reading how fucked up this license is, but like
it's fucked up.
In the first season of She-Ra, they briefly mentioned Eternia for like a hot second, right?
Yep.
And when they said that, I'm like, oh shit, and of course like the Horde and all that bullshit, but like. He-Man is still owned by Mattel, who hasn't really licensed it out to anyone yet for animation.
Other than the theoretical movie, that's about it.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here with that movie. But
if I'm not mistaken, the only time She-Ra and He-Man link up, at least in this generation, was during the DC comic. That's the only time I've seen them together. Yeah. In the last probably 10 years, I've seen them together.
Yeah.
Great comic though.
Fuck. Dude,
very great comic book. I love Skeletor now. I'm a big Skeletor fan now. Yes,
Yeah,
it
Did you see any
was.
of the crossovers they did, like the Thundercats and the Injustice crossovers they did with Masters?
Man.
Fucking good, man. It's fucking good.
Although when He-Man stabbed Superman through the chest, it fucking broke my heart.
I mean, he got better.
Like Ultraman. Oh yeah, he did. Ultraman, like, I've given up on like He-Man because, in the sense of like, I don't want to see He-Man done in the same style as She-Ra. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of that. So I don't want to see He-Man like that. And I was hoping like, okay, if She-Ra does well, they're gonna bring in He-Man. Now I'm like, you know what? Just fucking leave him alone. Just leave him alone. Like, so now that since Voltron is over, it kind of paves the way for like, all right, let's bring in some new nostalgia. Turtles is on Nickelodeon doing its thing. Ultraman isn't kind of like typical American nostalgia, but it's nostalgia nonetheless. Mm-hmm. And I think it could be the new flagship animated show for Netflix moving forward. And I hope it gets, you know, like I'm kind of repeating myself, but like I would hope it would get the same run, you know, season wise.
I mean, there's rumors flying that season 2 is going to probably happen, so it's just a case of when they're going to pull the trigger and do it as they always do. I mean, shit, they gave us 3 fucking Godzilla movies, which I was like, they were all of them underwhelming as fuck. So
underwhelming is not the word for it, man. Talk about, you know what? I feel bad that I have zero desire to watch the third one. I don't want to watch it. You're gonna have to force me to watch the third one.
I got halfway through the second one. I said, let me just pull this ripcord real fast. I'm out.
That third one was just like, that's King Ghidorah. Okay.
You know what? Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. I forgot there was King Ghidorah. You know what? It doesn't matter.
They fucked up Ghidorah?
Yes, they did. I was, what?
With his stupid ass.
Oh. Man, that hurt my
I still want to tell how bad did they fuck up Ghidorah?
Okay, so long story short, King Ghidorah. So here's what they did. So King Ghidorah apparently lives in the spirit realm, so to speak, and is fucking with people, and somehow through Godzilla magic, he pops back into reality.
Whoa. Spirit realm?
Uh-huh. Exactly.
Wait, I don't care.
Yeah. The same people that was in the second Godzilla film that was all like, you know, praising Mothra and all that stuff. And I'm like, what was the point of these Godzilla films? I don't understand this. I really don't. Oh, God damn it, Netflix. You gave us Godzilla and it wasn't that great, but you gave us Ultraman, so that's the flip coin.
This is what happens when you let That is what happens when you let anime be anime. When you let the wrong people direct your stuff, you let the wrong people write your stuff in anime, it can become some of the most boring bullshit in the world. Hey, Prime, you know all about that. You're a Gundam fan. You know what I mean. If you let the wrong person take over that thing, I don't care what license it is, it will crash and burn. Only thing you have to say is, well, at least we got toys, or well, is that one scene. Godzilla is just that. When Godzilla shows up, it's beast as hell, but you're thinking like, wow, I just wasted 2 hours. Never going to see that back again.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So, you know what's funny? I actually thought Production IG did the Godzilla movies. They didn't. It was Polygon Pictures. I was like, okay, whew, thank God. But
all right, well, fuck them.
Yeah, because I mean the animation for that one is almost kind of like Ultraman, so it kind of threw me off. I was like, did Production ID do Godzilla? Okay, thank God they didn't. Dear God, because that, oof, man, I don't know. So like I said, much like anything, that's impressive. Huh?
I say that's impressive. I like the anime. The animation in Ultraman is amazing because I I see how good it looks, and I say, why couldn't Berserk do the same thing? Why? Why could it not?
They hate us, dude. That's why. That is why.
It's like you can tell when Warner Brothers Japan didn't give Berserk money, because the second you saw how bad the season 3 and season 4 looked, that was just terrible, man. So you could just tell you can also tell when an animation house has no experience in 3D to 2D animation also.
Well,
you can tell that. Yeah, you could. Yeah.
Yeah, well, because it's interesting because Production IG, they did those 3D Appleseed movies.
And I thought the Appleseed movies were okay. And, I thought they were okay in the look. Wait a minute, who did Gantz? Who did Gantz Zero?
Shit.
Who did?
Hold up.
Because whoever did that looked incredibly good.
Gantz Zero was dope.
Yeah.
That's another one, Joe. If you want to watch, that's actually not a bad jumping in point.
What is it?
Gantz Zero.
Gant Zero?
Gantz, Gantz 0. It's on Netflix. That is Digital Frontier.
Digital Front. They did an incredible job. It reminded me of that bad Final Fantasy movie, the first one, Spirits Within. It reminded me of how good that looks. But there's a good story.
They did our favorite movie, Tekken Blood Vengeance.
I can't fucking. That's the worst thing about Tekken Blood Vengeance, because Tekken Blood Vengeance looks good.
Bruh.
It looks really good.
Again,
the
Joe,
action scenes, when they're coherent, looks good.
The only fight you need to see in Tekken Blood Vengeance, Joe, since I'm pretty sure you play Tekken, is the 3-way fight between Kazuya, Jin, and Heihachi at the end of that movie. That's the only thing you need to watch out of that whole movie. Easily.
I didn't even know there was a movie.
YouTube.
Just YouTube the fight, and that's all you need.
YouTube that fight. Now, to give it some respect, I thought Shayu and Alessa was actually pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. It's just that, there's a lot of stuff when you see it animated, you're saying, okay, that's kind of silly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and they did the Resident Evil CG movies too, so, yeah, there you go.
See, they actually got...
the whole fight is on here.
There's a pedigree there, see?
Yeah. Look, as ridiculous as that last Resident Evil movie was with... Bruh, at one point, Chris and the other dude are running in circles, shooting at each other onto the ground. I'm like, what is this where we're at right now? All right, fine, cool. I guess.
Wait. I don't know why you're asking questions, because you allowed this when you bought Resident Evil 6 and 5.
I did. I did allow that. But you know what? I will say this. That's the credit to where we're at with 3D technology, with the animation, is that you can get... I mean, look, we've seen that whole clip of Leon and Chris shooting the zombies in the hall and how crisp that shit was, like on some John Wick shit. That's how we've hit that level of 3D animation in these movies now. I'm like, all right, cool. I mean...
I'm appreciative that I seen the growth of it. I can say that, man. Because I remember when Ghost in the Shell first did that, and everybody was like, "Oh man, don't look good." Oh, you can tell that the 3D against the 2D just looked ugly as hell.
Yep.
But by the time they got to the second season, you can tell that they were improving and stuff like that. So I always knew that we were going to get to this point. It took them a minute. I will say that it took them a minute to get it good.
Look, I tell you what. When we get to the Sentai and stuff, I'll be glad when the special effects budgets for like Kamen Rider can rival Hollywood on the special effects. I mean, because I think
not in America. I wish though. I wish.
Hey, look. I mean, look. I think I told you this, Prime. Like when you go back and watch some of the older Kamen Riders in the CG for it, it's like they tried. It's fine for what it is.
Like I said, they got to scrape together 50 episodes for $1.50. Man, what you gonna do?
Yeah, so I mean, which is funny because like the movies, it feels like the CG budget is like a little bit better and stuff. So, I mean, I guess that makes sense. But I'm still, like I said, going with what you were saying, Joe. They could do more Ultraman, but I'm like, yo, can we get some Macross Robotech? That'd be dope. I don't know. I mean, didn't you say? Hold up, Brian. Didn't you say Harmony Gold is almost about the
2022. I'm counting that fucking clock. I'm looking at the... So I'm like, oh, we almost there, baby.
It's like coming 2022, Macross.
I'm waiting on Harmony Gold to lose their fucking license.
Man. Has Netflix announced the second season for Ultraman?
Nah, not yet. There's just kind of rumors for right now, but they probably will. I mean,
I would love to know how long it takes to make an episode of that show.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
And like, if they do season 2, maybe actually make those people look like people.
Possibility. I mean, I can see that. Because like you said, I do agree with you. It's like, yo, why is Shinji still like he's 5 years old?
Well, no, I mean, when what the fuck is her name? Like his little Lois Lane chick. Like when she's talking to Ultraman, I'm like, this looks like a grown ass man talking to a child.
I mean, that's,
you know what I mean? Like when
Japanese
he's in the
way,
suit.
So.
Well, yeah, no, but like when he's in the suit and she's, looking at him or obsessing over him or talking to him or whatever, I'm like aesthetically, this looks off. Because I want to say in the suit, I mean, he looks to be like taller, right?
Yeah, I think I think the suit makes him a little bit taller and stuff, basically.
Yeah, and like when he's, in his little fucking school uniform, I mean, he looks like he's 12.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know, man. Like that kind of shit to me, like, and I know that like the Japanese, like they have a very different style, but like that's kind of off-putting to me.
Yeah. So.
She's like some fucking pop star or whatever she is. And didn't she bail out on him?
I think so. I believe so. I mean, I don't know. It was weird. Their relationship was interesting in the fact of I was shocked that it didn't go full tilt into them having like a full blown relationship. It was, like you said, kind of a Lois and Clark kind of situation and stuff. So, I mean, I don't even think she knows he's Ultraman, to be honest with you. I don't think she does.
Oh, she figured that shit out.
Yeah, she did figure it out. My bad.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. She did. Yeah, the phone thing. He is so shit with his secret identity. He was like, "Oh no, that guy's falling. Let me go and call for help. Hey, you left your phone on the table. Where are you going, Shinjiro? Oh look, there's Ultraman.
She did.
Yep.
Dumbass."
Meanwhile, Power Ranger can morph in front of like 5 people and nobody knows who the fuck they are. Isn't that amazing?
Well, I think it's more like that whole like they don't want to believe thing.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean?
So,
I don't want to.
My question is.
Uh-huh.
So my question is, they just knew that his son had the powers just like he did?
Well, because you remember at the beginning when he fell over the banister when he was a kid and he just fell down and landed like nothing happened. It was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because any other fall that would kill your kid.
And welcome to because I got 2 sons that are curious as hell. Welcome to my fucking nightmare. So yeah. But
your kid falls off the second floor. Oh shit, he got powers. It's like, whoa.
I would believe that. What about sons having powers like that? Dad, I'm all right.
It's like, can you push this car, son? Can you do that?
That's when you bounce him off a couple more times. Like, are you sure? Because we can test that theory.
Hey man, come over here and whack my son upside the head with a big ass wrench or something like that. You know what I mean?
There will be 2 black bees.
Like
they will murder you for doing that.
Please, no, my wife. She's like, see if he can fly. Like, how did you get height at? Because Angie always, in my opinion, jumps to a conclusion that doesn't make any logical sense sometimes. It's like, wait a minute, why fly? I don't know, just see if he can. You won't know until you try.
I swear, man, I thought that was going to happen when the kid fell off the banister. I was expecting the scientist like, throw him off the banister again to see if that was a fluke.
let's test that.
I had this real bad feeling, and when he fell off, I like, okay, now they find out his son is a special. Cool. I still have it. Just the fact that his dad, and I'm sorry I didn't get neither of the names, but Shin. I like how the dad just showed that
Shin is the dad's name.
Yeah, I just like how he just showed that he had power while breaking the living crap out of a stone brick, and I was like, well, somebody is still Ultraman. And granted, like I said, I still haven't watched everything, but I'm sitting there like, okay, so did he know that Ultraman left? When Ultraman left, were they separated? How did that work?
Well, like they separated, it was separated, and he wiped his memory, so to speak.
Okay, I get that, but clearly you would know who, whatever.
Well, that's
I'm
what
overthinking
it was, because his friend was like, I know you're Ultraman. I didn't think you remember. He was like, yeah, I think I still got some semblance of Ultraman. I just know I do, which he does and stuff. And then, the rest is history as the show goes on.
Actually, yes. How does that work? So, like, if the alien leaves his body and wipes his memory, how does he still have power? And how does he remember, like, did he basically... It's almost like the alien fucking...
Like
it's like he didn't have a baby. He didn't have like a full baby. It was like pre-com.
It's like he had he had residuals in it, and then it was like, all right, he has residuals in it, and like seeing all the pictures, it's like, I guess I was Ultraman. Okay, cool. You know that.
But how would you put that together?
I always took it like
because I think he said like he had like blackout periods, and he's like, okay, so I know I was a science patrol officer, and I know there was an Ultraman, but whenever Ultraman showed up, like I blacked out. Like that doesn't make any sense. Why don't I remember ever seeing Ultraman?
Yeah.
See, I get that.
I get
that. I always took it as like you know when you erase clear the history off your computer, but you don't erase the cookies. I thought it was kind of like that. Like, he don't remember it happening, but I do know how to punch a fucking hole in the wall. Like, I mean, it does make sense, but you know what I mean.
I mean, it's kind of like because I think that's been kind of the staple for. I mean, if I remember, because I think Ultraman Tiga, that was out of all the Ultraman series, I have seen the original one, Tiga, and then Geed, and that's it. Now I know Tiga. If I remember correctly, didn't Homeboy that was Tiga, didn't him and Ultraman, he never wiped his memory at all?
No, he was Tiga. Like, if I remember the origin right, because you got to forgive me, man. It's been years since I've seen Tiga.
That's why I was like,
But if I remember right, like, he was bestowed the powers of Tiga by that goddess in the statue.
Yeah.
So, like, there wasn't... So, usually Ultraman are like Green Lantern Corps. They fly around the galaxy and fight monsters, and if they can't exist on Earth because of pollution. So the atmosphere and all that shit. So to be here to do their jobs, like they have to bomb humans to survive in our atmosphere and on our planet. Mm-hmm. But there are some Ultraman who are born Ultraman, like Geed, Orb, or who are bestowed the powers like Tiga.
Yeah. So that was Tiga was the one. He had like the red and purple form, and then he had a combined form. Yeah, that was an interesting series. As much as I was hating the Foxbox era, that was the only thing that kind of kept my attention.
So if the alien basically bonded with Shin, gave him, so the alien just needs Shin, right? Is it kind of like the Green Lantern where it has to find like a worthy host, or anybody's gonna do?
Anybody in a pinch.
Yeah.
Any port in the storm.
Okay.
Yeah.
You nearby? Right. Gotcha. Come on. I need to live, nigga.
Yeah. Basically.
Okay. So if the alien is what gave Shin the power, how does Shin have any power after the alien left?
I think, like I said, it was just the idea of, like he was saying, like him being with Ultraman for so long, he just had residual aspects of it, and then boom, carried over to them. And I think part of me also thinks that the suit also enhanced it way more than versus like Shinjiro, where he just has the fucking Ultraman shit in him, and he doesn't necessarily need the suit, and the suit is just there as an enhancement. So, that's my takeaway from it. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
So did he knock out Shinjiro's mom when he was full Ultraman, or after the alien left?
Sounds like might have been after.
This is like in the 60s, isn't it?
I think 70s.
No, he had him late in life. That was a point of dialogue when he said he had he had him late. I remember that. I don't think he said when, but I remember he was talking to his friend and was going like, "Yeah, your son looks healthy." And he's like, "Yeah, I know I had him kind of later than normal."
Yeah, it was kind of touch and go with the wife, but she made it. It's like, oh, okay.
And when he got Shinjiro's mom pregnant, that was after the alien left. So basically, he wasn't at full power when he got her pregnant. So Shinjiro basically got residual of residual.
Yeah, and Shinji just kind of manifested it fully and stuff. So it's like he doesn't necessarily it's weird. And my takeaway from it was like, if Ultraman were to come back to Earth, Shinjiro can basically bond with it, and he might be a little bit more powerful than his dad, since he already kind of has it already in him. That's my takeaway from it.
I don't know. Yeah, no, I mean, I get that, but whatever the fuck they got to do to make him big,
let's do that.
Make it happen. Yeah. I just want because there were a couple moments in that fucking season where I'm like, oh, like when he's fighting Homeboy in the middle of the city and he was to fly.
Yeah.
I thought that motherfucker was going to pull some, Rita Repulsa shit. And
it's like, oh, you fly? Boom, I'm big. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I think that, I thought, I'm like, oh, he's going to get big. And then he's just, talking shit and yelling and everything, and it's like, well, fuck, man.
Yeah. But, yeah, I think that's us talking about Ultraman Netflix series and stuff. Yeah, like I said, I want to see more of this, definitely.
I hope so.
Yeah, definitely. Hoping it is and stuff. Which, side note, I probably do need to, since we were talking about She-Ra, I definitely do need to watch that second season. It's actually not bad. But anyways, yeah, I guess that's it. And hopefully once Prime finishes up Ninja Steel, that's gonna be the next one.
I'm trying, dog. I really am. I'm
It's
trying
going
my
on how
damn
many
best.
months now, bro? I know I'm
Look,
not
man.
watching that, but I'm just saying.
Look, man, let me do me.
It's been going
How about
on
that?
for a little.
It's been about 2 years. It's okay though. I'm getting there.
Hey, I'm just saying, I'm excited to be done with Ninja Steel because everybody's been like, "Hey guys, you gonna ever do Super Sentai?" And I'm like, I'm pretty excited. I'm just waiting for Prime to finish up Ninja Steel so we can get on that.
I mean, it's Ninja Steel, man. Like that's a roadblock, man. Give me some slack here.
No, I'm cutting you some slack. That's why we did Ultraman to kind of placate it and stuff. So it works. It's all good.
Hey, I got a question. What's the latest with a potential reboot and or sequel to the Power Ranger movie?
The last I heard on an investor call, and Hasbro said that they are interested and they are pursuing, and that's the last I heard.
Yeah, so right now it's in limbo, but I think Hasbro, they're in a position where they want to sit there and actually do it. So it's just a case of just, are they going to bring the old cast back? Are they what direction are you going to go in? And I think, like I said, Hasbro, they're like literally 1 month into owning the property, so they're just kind of like, all right, we got to figure this shit out on what we're going to do with the property now. So,
So they don't know if it'll be a sequel or a reboot?
Don't even know yet.
Or television.
I mean, right now, Beast Morphers is basically their first, kind of full hands-on with a Power Ranger show at this point, so everything else just kind of comes as it comes. So,
because the fucking Pink Ranger's blown up, man. She's Jasmine now. Like she's, it looks like she might be a little harder to get in a couple years.
I mean, you know what though? I say it works.
Wait, isn't she in Charlie's Angels too?
Yep. Hey, look, I'll say this though. I gotta be real. That might work to the advantage because now you have a huge big name person versus before where you just had fucking Rita Repulsa, homegirl to play Rita Repulsa as like the big name. Elizabeth Banks was
Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, Bryan Cranston and Elizabeth Banks were like really the two big names, so to speak, for that original movie. And then now you have the sequel. Hey, you got her, and then if they bring Bryan Cranston back, then you got him. So it's like, all right.
I don't think they're gonna how much I love him. Like I would love to see him come back, man. But I think he'd be like, you know what? Like I did you guys a solid, and that movie fucking tanked. I'm all set now. I'm all set. I mean, I would love to see
I'm back
him
for the
back.
Breaking Bad movie. I'm great. I'm good. We're good.
Yeah. Like I got that Breaking Bad money, so like, I'm good. I'm good.
But they did say they are looking to do a sequel. So I mean, look, at this point, they can do anything at this stage of what they. They could change a lot of stuff and they could sit there and do anything. So it's kind of a toss up on what they plan to really do ultimately at the end of the day when it comes to all this. So I don't know. We just gotta see how it plays. Hell, I'm curious to see what they're gonna have at San Diego Comic-Con now with Hasbro there, because Hasbro always had a big booth. So now that they got Power Rangers, I'm curious of how huge of a spread they're gonna have this year and stuff. And
how long do you think it is until they try to merge fucking Transformers and Power Rangers?
I've been telling y'all that shit's on the table. That was like the slide one in their fucking Power.
Isn't IDW like tempting fate with that basically?
I don't know, because IDW just relaunched the Transformer comic book, which has been pretty good, by the way. If you haven't been reading that, it's a good jumping on point.
Is that
a new universe, new rules?
I mean, is that crossover with the G.I. Joe and Mask and all that stuff still intact, or is it just like it doesn't?
Nope, that's discarded. That's an old universe. We in the brand new realm now, baby. New space, new rules.
Okay. Well, now, as ambitious as that crossover was, it was pretty forgettable ultimately.
I mean, so like, I had a problem with that shit from the inception, because then they did like the weakest retcon ever when they were like, oh no, these always happened in the same universe. I'm in the back going with my hand up. Excuse me, I got a question. So if this all happened at the same time in the same universe, where the fuck was G.I. Joe during all hit Megatron?
I mean, if you told me Mask and G.I. Joe were in the same realm, I believe that. But not fucking Transformers and G.I. Joe. It's like, that doesn't make sense.
I'm saying, so when Megatron conquered the Earth, where the fuck were all y'all?
Fighting Cobra, you know.
No one?
That's what happened.
No one? Okay.
Which, that's another franchise I'm waiting for Netflix to pick back up to do a fucking cartoon G.I. Joe, because I don't know.
And you know what? You know what? This weekend I was doing something and I had Retaliation on in the background, and when I looked up, it was the part where they were at the end fighting with the vehicles and tanks, and I was like, "This is the most G.I. Joe shit I've seen."
Yup.
Like this shit is so fucking G.I.
Complete with the rock busting off the fucking shit on top of the fucking car, you know, and just I'm like, okay, well. That's the thing.
The only thing was missing was that damn Doomsday device dominating some weather, and that would have been the fucking perfect G.I. Joe movie.
Bro, that's gonna be the third movie. They're just gonna Hail Mary that shit. Weather Dominator. All right,
just fucking do it. Just do it. Just do it. And like I'm actually excited because last I heard they are doing that Snake Eyes solo movie. So I'm pretty pumped about that.
Snake Eyes solo movie is going to clean house. Ninjas, literally, that is the one thing that people talked about that second movie was that whole mountaintop ninja scene. That was hype as shit. You gonna give me a Snake Eyes movie with that shit? Fucking money in the bank, right?
If you give me that same Bumblebee energy for the Snake Eyes movie with the action scenes from Retaliation, oh, it's a wrap, man. It's good. Take my fucking money.
Yep. I mean. Give me everything. Give me all the ninjas. Everything. Jinx, Snake Eyes, everybody. Just go full tilt with it. So, yeah. Bring back Ray Park. Easily. Got to.
Please.
I might be the only one here that's like, I don't give a single fuck about G.I. Joe.
You know what?
You'd be right.
I don't blame you, because like I said, I think because it's not that big stick point in pop culture like it used to be. It just exists. Like when those movies came out, you had G.I. Joe Renegades, which I thought was a pretty interesting premise, and it's kind of
it was a great fucking cartoon.
Great cartoon. Ended on a clip. Well, would you say cliffhanger, so to speak?
No, it ended with them becoming like G.I. Joes we know it in form and practice.
Yeah,
like it went from being the A-Team to
actual G.I. Joe.
You know what? You know what it was though. Like at the time G.I. Joe came out, so it's real American heroes and fucking soldiers and shit. And I guess I was like, why the fuck do I want to play with that when I got Ninja Turtles, fucking He-Man, Thundercats, like more fantastic shit out there.
Here's the thing though. G.I. Joe was like everything in the kitchen sink. Like it had the ninjas, it had like mutant creatures, cyborgs, android. It had all that shit. It's like the military shit. That was just.
You can even play as Sergeant Slaughter in The Fridge from the Chicago Bears. It's like, all right, cool.
I remember Sergeant Slaughter and shit, but like I just because my brother was super into fucking G.I. Joe, and I think they tried to get me into it, and I was like, hold the phone, like, okay, they got guns and like camo and shit, and like cars and shit like that, but like does that car transform?
I mean, fucking surface level. Right, they had vehicles that can combine with each other.
Put it this way,
they didn't turn to robots. They had a
tank
/ helicopter.
I saw somebody, Joe, and you could probably look it up on YouTube. There was a toy back in the day that came from G.I. Joe, the fucking the big aircraft carrier.
Mm-hmm. The flag.
The flag, Joe. That shit is the size of a fucking conference table.
Oh, I remember. I mean, like again, my brother had most of those fucking toys, and like I remember. He was like balls deep into G.I. Joe. And for whatever reason, it was like the 180s property that just skipped over me because I was like, hold the phone. You got Cobra Commander, some dude with some raspy ass voice and a metal helmet. And then you got fucking Skeletor and Mumra and like
underneath that metal helmet. He was a fucking Snake Man, so
which the comics retconned the fuck out of that, and I'm like, okay, all right.
But then I got King Hiss, so I was like my brother was like, you got to get into it, like da da da, and I was like, man, like I don't give a fuck about this stuff.
I always tell folks like the one G.I. Joe thing that I actually bought and I loved. It was a storyline in the comics from IDW. It was called Civil War. And the whole premise of it was Cobra Commander, he got killed by this, I think one of the G.I. Joe undercover members, I think, was it Chuckles? I believe, correct? If I remember.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
They had the whole remember that shit.
Yeah, Chuckles was undercover with Cobra, under Cobra, killed Cobra Commander. So all the bad guys in Cobra basically were playing a game to see who could cause more chaos for the G.I. Joes, and that person would end up being leading Cobra. So you had, was it Serpentor,
Baroness, Tomar and Razor, Tomar and is the twins.
Yeah, the twins. Fucking twins. I think it was a new character. It was a new bad guy, which that was their way of basically saying he's going to end up leading it. But whatever, I forgot his name. That fucking mercenary. He was fucking Red Herring. Yeah. Major Blood. Basically all the Cobra people were basically vying for this top position, and I loved it because G.I. Joe was just like, what the fuck's going on? We're getting attacked every goddamn day by everybody, ninjas, everything, and it's just all out chaos. And the fallout from that, Joe, it was fucking hilarious because the fallout from that was the government they were literally being questioned in front of Congress, like, you guys are throwing billions of dollars into G.I. Joe. What exactly do they do? And I was just laughing, like this is where we're at right now with G.I. Joe.
It's weird because, every fucking person I knew when I was a kid loved G.I. Joe. Mm-hmm. Had all the fucking toys and this and this and this. So I knew enough about it through them. But, it was just that way. And I used to watch dumbass shit. I used to watch the Rambo cartoon. I used to watch that fucking Conan show. I used to watch
Karate Commandos.
Fuck yeah. Silverhawks. I was into all that shit. And for whatever reason, it was just that 180s property that, kind of skipped me.
And then it's the property that, they gave us things like, thank God you didn't watch this, G.I. Joe Extreme. Ugh. Oof.
Well, when the movie came out, both of them, I was like, I'll check it out. I'm familiar enough to know who the fuck the characters are. Yeah. Man, when you get Joseph Gordon-Levitt as fucking Cobra Commander in that first one, I was like,
I'm glad they retconned that shit in the second movie. I was like, thank God. Woo!
The second movie was better, but man, it ain't good. It ain't good. It's better.
I'm glad they retconned it. It was like, let's just go with a straightforward Cobra got a weapon up in the air, and he's gonna wreck shit, and you give him money. I'm like, all right, cool.
You know what? You know what hurts my fucking feelings though? As bad as both of those G.I. Joe movies are, they're still better than the fucking He-Man movie.
Low bar there, Joe.
Low bar. As bad as those movies are, they are more true to their property than the Transformers movies are to Transformers.
Well, except for Bumblebee, notwithstanding.
Except for Bumblebee.
Which I'm glad. I'm glad they're doubling down and saying, yo, Bay is not on this sequel, so fuck off.
Dude, I watched Bumblebee on 4K the other day, and that fucking opening Cybertron scene in 4K is some of the most incredible shit I have ever seen. And then they have on the special features, they have the character breakdown, so you can see them. You can see them in 3D, and it'll explain to you who the character is. Mm-hmm. So you can see Shockwave and fucking Optimus and everybody. I swear to God, it's I'm looking at it how come you haven't done that for the last 15 years? It's you know what I mean? And I remember Michael Bay saying oh well, whatever was in the cartoon doesn't translate. I'm like, this motherfucker figured it out.
Yeah,
it's not that hard. It's not that hard. How about this? They don't have to fucking make sense because the whole thing doesn't make sense.
Yep.
These are the same motherfuckers who said they didn't want to put RC in the first movie because they were like, well, where were a girl robot doesn't make sense. I'm like, none of this shit makes sense.
RC,
shut the fuck up.
But you gave us RC bikes, so what the fuck was the difference?
You
she fucking idiots.
Shows up in Cybertron and she's awesome.
Yeah, dude.
And then you get Cliff Jumper with the fucking horns, who's red. He gets cut in half, but still, I was like, oh my god, they got fucking Cliff Jumper.
I swear to you, if all of them had transformed on Cybertron, I would have jerked, just nuts.
Dude, I was touching myself during that opening thing in the fucking theater. Like when Ratchet shows up and he's red and white, I'm like, how the fuck do you guys figure this out in an opening scene? It's like what, maybe 2-3 minutes long at most, if that. 2 minutes long.
I think it's literally 5 minutes straight up, just 5 minutes, just
okay. And you have Starscream, who's fucking blue and gray and red and gold, and then you have Shockwave and Soundwave and everyone. Dude, when he fucking called out
Ravager.
Oh god damn it, Ravager! I'm like, he's a fucking panther, and he's purple, and he's a fucking cassette tape. Why is there a cassette tape on Cybertron? How about this? I don't give a fuck.
I don't care.
Yeah. How about I don't give a fuck? Why are they jets on Cybertron? I don't give a fuck.
Hey, you know what though? Just to kind of bring it back to Ultraman, let me ask you guys real quick on this one. All right. So, you guys remember back in the day, they did an American Ultraman?
No.
You mean that cartoon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Battle for Earth?
Yeah, Battle for Earth. And like I said, I know the Netflix one, they're based off the manga, but do you see them ever trying to, like somebody in America trying to do their own original kind of Ultraman, or do you think they're just going to leave it to Japan to do it?
Well, I don't know, because last I read, they're really on this big push. Like, they try this like every couple of years. They're like, we're going to make Fetch happen with Ultraman in America. So they do like random things. Yeah. I don't think Ultraman is gonna. I think Ultraman will never get the Power Ranger treatment where they take the footage and splice in American actors and shit. Like, that's never gonna fucking happen. Okay. I don't. Well, you know what? Knock on wood. I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't foresee that happening. But stranger shit has happened. It is 2019.
Yeah.
I maybe right now see them just sticking to like maybe doing animated projects, because again, that Power Ranger stink, that stigma, like when people see live action Japanese superheroes, they're like, oh, that's that Power Ranger shit. That shit is corny. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how hard they will try with the live action stuff, which is a shame because there are some really good Ultraman shows. And again, like Ultraman, my blind spot, like a lot of the shows I've watched have been pretty fucking good, like shows in of themselves.
Yeah.
So, long story, like I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like I really hope it works out for him this time. But a lot of people seem to really like the Netflix anime, so we'll see.
Yeah. Wait, isn't Netflix resurrecting Saint Seiya too?
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
But is it going to be like Ultraman, where it's like they're not just porting something over from Japan to here, or is it like?
I think
basically, is it going to be like a new show?
It's a new show in Japan. Like I think the exclusive rights to air this show, so they're doing a remake of the original show, but in like CG.
Yeah.
So it'll be new for us.
New-ish, because it'll hit the same main story points that the original show hit.
Like I said, other than them, like I said, I think they changed up Andromeda, which we talked about before. I mean,
so like, what is up with that shit?
So for the most part, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, we talked about that before. That's like, I think that was the only thing. Dark, I think everybody was digging it, and it's like they changed them Andromeda, and I'm like, it's not a bad thing, but at the same time, it's like, why could you just keep Andromeda? Like,
Andromeda.
I mean,
here's my thing. So, as a girl, why does she look more masculine than the male version does? I'm so fucking confused. I'm like, what? So what? You could have just like kept the same character design and just gave it a girl's voice, but you didn't.
But past that, looking at the trailer, I'm digging the animation for that one, so I'm really curious to see where they go with that.
Wait! They've shown footage of it?
Yeah, it's a trailer out.
Yeah, trailer out.
There is?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh fuck me! Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it should be on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! I just heard the announcement. Like, oh yeah, because is it later this year, right?
I believe so. Yeah, because the trailer came out, I think, right around Christmas last year, and then that was it. And that's
what?
Yeah, Christmas last year. Yeah, that's why. Because because the trailer dropped. Me and Prime had did one last Morphin Metacast before, like, we broke off before the new year, and the trailer had dropped, and we talked about it. And that's when we were talking about Andromeda and the change on that one. So yeah.
Oh fuck me! I had no idea. I just heard the announcement, like, yeah, it's coming to Netflix in later 2019 or whatever. But I didn't know that there was actual like. So it shows actual footage.
Yeah, like so you know clips of the fights and everything.
if I'm not mistaken, they showed the first time Seiya transforms, right?
Yep.
From that sequence, that first fight he did from the show in the manga. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So.
And then they showed
where
that
have I been?
You hanging in the wrong circles, my dude.
I guess I am, man.
I think I might have tweeted about it. I'm surprised you didn't see it when I tweeted about it. I think I tweeted about it. I was like, oh.
Dude, I don't even pay attention to the shit I tweet. So, I read fucking Twitter like a newspaper. So
oh, okay, yeah. It probably didn't pop up on the TL when you were reading it at that moment. But yeah.
Well, no, I have all of you guys on a list.
Yeah.
So everything you tweet, I don't fucking. I'm like ashamed of myself right now that I. I mean, like when they announced it, I was excited. Like, same with Ultraman, I was excited because I grew up with shit like that, and I'm thinking like, all right, I want to see what they're gonna look like. I want to see how da 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 da. And you're like, yeah, this shit's been out for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, oh fuck, all right. Well, okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So.
I'm so like ashamed of myself right now. Like.
I mean,
I knew about Ultraman for like a year, so I mean, that counts for something. But apparently, like you're like, yeah, that shit's old. Like they already had a trailer 6 months ago. Like, oh fuck, man.
Yeah,
all right, well,
yeah, but yeah, I think it comes out summer. Yeah, this summer is supposed to come up. So I'm like, oh, that's gonna be.
God damn, Netflix is going hard with that fucking anime shit.
Dude, look, Netflix is. There's a reason why Netflix has been pitting towards original content because they're really trying to like.
Because they're losing Disney.
Well, they lost Disney and they're losing a lot of other companies that are going to like Hulu and Amazon Prime, so they gotta like beef up their original content. So it's like, fuck it, why not put something on it that's gonna make more people to want to watch their stuff now? So,
well, I mean, how much do you like that Disney pulled his dick out and was like, hey, so you canceled all of our Marvel shows?
Pulling
cool. So now we're gonna have our own streaming service, and Ghost Rider's going to Hulu.
Hey, all I'm saying is,
you know what I mean?
It's not enough that Disney dicked me over on them Gargoyle DVD sets, so now I have to actually get Disney Plus in order to actually watch Gargoyles and stuff until I can find the DVDs at a reasonable price.
Dude, not only that,
do you realize the blood I had to shed to get that damn show on DVD? Realize how many I had to finish.
But do you realize that when Disney Plus hits and they're gonna do that same like DC thing, how they have like Batman animated series and shit like that. You're talking Gargoyles. You're talking fucking Darkwing Duck. You're talking old school DuckTales. You're talking motherfucking Gummy Bears.
And that's not factoring in some of their live action stuff that everybody loves, like Jet Jackson and all that shit. So
I'm talking the Aladdin fucking show, like shit that like was ridiculous, but I still fucking loved it.
Oh, that's one of the greatest animated series of all time. You can fight. No, I mean,
that shit. I love that amazing. Shit too. But most people, when you say Aladdin, they don't think of the show. They think of the movie. They're like, there was a show? Like, yeah,
there was a show that actually, which was funny, is because the two the second one went to the movies, the third one went direct to DVD, but the fucking next two sequel movies actually tied into the TV show. So it's like, oh shit, they had a whole ass damn world building with this show. All right,
at the fucking crossover with Hercules, man, that's my shit. That's my fucking show.
I can't wait, man. And then Disney's like, okay, Netflix, check this out. Ghost Rider, Hulu.
Yeah.
Now, if they make that shit like PG, they can go fuck themselves.
Well, it's Hulu, so they can get it. Like, look, I don't know if you've been watching Runaways. They can get away with some shit on Hulu.
No, I mean,
they're getting away with some shit on fucking Cloak and Dagger.
I know, right, bruh? They've been.
I'm like, what the fuck am I watching?
If you're giving me Ghost Rider, that motherfucker better be close to the Punisher.
I mean, look, they're giving us son of Satan.
Dude, he's the fucking spirit of vengeance. Like,
but Joe, you're not understanding. They're giving us son of Satan.
All right, all right. And I like the rock, and
which means we might be getting Blade.
Which means
fuck me.
We might be getting Midnight Suns.
I mean, yo.
Wait, they've talked about a Blade series.
Snipes has been picking up on the on Twitter about talking about it lately, which that leads a lot of people to believe with this announcement of Ghost Rider and Son of Satan, Blade could be coming around the corner at some point.
So how hard is Wesley Snipes trying to get back into shape?
I don't know. I mean, to me, he's always stayed in shape. I mean, yeah.
He got that. Well, yeah, because he was in prison. He got that prison.
No. He's out of prison. He's just kind of.
No. I mean, he was.
I mean, he's just chilling right now, doing direct to DVD movies and kind of getting.
I didn't know they were. So So wait. So Ghost Rider, they already confirmed Robbie Reyes. I'm stoked. I like that guy.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't need to see Johnny Blaze for now. Okay, so that's going to be its own show. Would they do like a Blade, like, would he be a character on that show and spin off, or they're just going to go straight to spin off his own show?
I mean, they might just go straight to a show. I mean, like I said, that's like he's been picking up on talking about Blade soon and all that stuff. So, I mean, it looks like they've been talking for a while and trying to figure out how to best implement it. Now that you got Ghost Rider Net, well, there you go, Midnight Suns, and Blade will pop up in there on that. So.
Oh God, damn it! You know what else they're gonna throw at us? Fucking Moon Knight. Watch.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, I that would not surprise me in the least. It really wouldn't. So, but anyways,
damn it.
Yeah, that's us talking about Ultraman and other.
Kind of.
Look, we spent the majority of it talking about Ultraman, and then it devolved into Saint Seiya and other streaming shows, which.
It's got a fucking Asian anime theme.
I mean, let's be real about this. I think kids nowadays, they got it so good in terms of access to all this stuff nowadays. I mean, just saying. I mean, we had to rough it out back in the day to find some of this stuff. You know, VHS tapes.
Yeah, I had to wait for that motherfucker to come back from Japan. And then walk me through what the fuck they were saying, because everything was in Japanese and there were no subtitles.
Hey, look, imagine, if you will, the early days of LimeWire trying to download Zyuranger episodes. That was rough. That was rough.
You know what I want to see before we go? You know what I want to see hit American Waves? That fucking season of Power Rangers in Japan, or Super Sentai, whatever, where they were trained and the Megazord had a legit dick. He had a train dick.
Oh,
that was the most ridiculous fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Prime, was that Tokuger?
Yeah, Tokuger.
Yeah, Tokuger the train season. Yeah. Oof. You know what? It would not surprise me.
Was that intentional though?
I don't.
Yes,
dude,
yes.
He had a dick.
That was like the punchline to like 5 jokes.
So that, like, in the show, that was the thing.
Yeah. You know what?
That was intentional.
It would not surprise me if Hasbro said, "Fuck it, we're adapting that season."
I don't know. Like, I kind of feel like the wind.
They went back.
The wind is blowing.
They went back to Ghostbusters. I'm just saying.
The wind wanted Ju-Onger, man. That's what I feel in my bones.
All right. I mean, you might be right. You know, I just know you were really hardcore pressing on the train thing, and I was like, I kind of see what you're talking about. I see it.
I want it bad. But like, I feel like they're gonna go with Ju-On the world.
I mean, look. I mean, if that's their way of doing Green with Evil again, I mean, people need to see that greatness. So,
oh my God, he beat shit out of them, man.
Yeah, Zu-On of the world. That dude, I can't believe Japan was like, "Yo, you like Green with Evil? Hold my beer. Here's a 5-parter with this dude putting hands on these fools for 5 episodes straight."
Hey, before we go, did you get the Power Ranger visual guide?
Yeah, dude, I've been had that book.
All right,
been thumbing through it. Me and Prime were actually going to talk about it. I mean, if you want to jump in on
have you read? I do. Have you actually read it?
I got through the first 3 seasons.
Man, they go into some deep cuts on how they came up with like the looks and the this, and it's funny because you see those static. Like, I love White Ranger's my all-time favorite. Right? He's a fucking cat. So like, I love that look. I will always love him the most when you see a static image of him and you realize that not only is he wearing Lycra, but it's not necessarily flattering Lycra and like gold bands and shit. You're like, God damn, how much did I appreciate A, being young and naive, and B, like him in motion. He looked fucking like shitty, kind of like not even like HD, video, like. It helped sell the aesthetic of him, because when they explain, like in that book, or like, this is what we came up with, and and like they kind of break a lot of shit down. You're like, God damn, he looks awful.
I mean, look, And that's why I recommend people get the visual history of Power Rangers, because they go like it's like they took the time out to go knee deep into every like intricacies of every season of like the show and stuff. Even the show like and like I said, I think the book kind of helps folks that maybe dipped out of Power Rangers after a certain while, so now they can actually read up on the backstories of how the season happened and what, so it's definitely an interesting book. Like I said, I've been slowly going through with it and stuff, because I got that one and I just got the X-Men one, the X-Men animated series one.
Oh, I didn't know there was one.
Yeah,
you gotta send me the link.
Yeah, it was like the history of the X-Men animated series, kind of like the kind of like the basically the backstory on how the show came to be made and its place in the whole Marvel cartoon thing back in the 90s and stuff. So,
and it birthed on the Juggernaut bitch. So
yeah,
I'm gonna say once again, X-Men carrying Marvel on their fucking back.
I know, right? Happy X-Men Day, guys.
Hey, but I'll have you know, I was at Disney today, and the word on the street is that they're relaunching, because they're building Marvel Land right now,
Yeah.
So they're relaunching so like you have Captain America, Spider-Man's there and shit like that, but like for whatever, Spider-Man is wearing his Amazing Spider-Man 2 costume.
Ooh, nice.
And I'm like, hey man, fucking get with it. But like they're relaunching everything, I believe, this summer. So like Captain America's going to have an updated costume. Spider-Man's going to have, check this out. Spider-Man is having a new costume that's loosely based on the Homecoming suit, but quote unquote received upgrades from Stark. And the word is that like that's Disney's way of saying like, nah, we own this version now. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, that was a done deal anyway. I mean, hell, they're already look. I honestly think Far From Home is going to be the first $1 billion Spider-Man film. That's just a hunch I got, So,
but no, like so. What I'm saying is that like every MCU character is going to have their cinematic counterpart costume, right? Like Black Panther's already there; he's got his costume and everything. The Spider-Man, obviously, because he's shared.
Yeah,
they're not going to give him the Far From Home suit. They're not going to give him the Homecoming suit. They're giving him Disney's version of the Homecoming suit. So it's got a bigger spider. I think the web shooter's on the inside now. They released a picture online a couple of months ago, and some guy today that works there, he was like, basically now Sony can't take him back from the park.
Ooh.
Right?
Ooh.
So basically Disney's like, yeah, come get him. And he's like, dude, next year, trust me, because Disney planned shit out fucking way in advance, right? Mm-hmm. Next year, they're starting to roll out Fantastic Four, X-Men, and Deadpool merchandise.
Ooh, yeah, this is it. Yeah.
And you know what that's gonna like, and it's all gonna be based on like the yellow suits and shit like that, because they don't have like the cinematic counterparts.
Yeah.
Except for Deadpool, but he was like, trust me, like they've already got the fucking plans, they've got this, they've got the merch lined up. Like next year, you're going to see the Fantastic Four and the X-Men and even Deadpool finally at like a Disney park alongside, Spider-Man and Thor and shit like that. And he's like, they're
around huge, but
dude, they're adding the Baxter Building to fucking Marvel Land.
Shut up and take my money. I mean, I'm just saying, like, hey, if I ever go, yeah. Anyways, folks, that's it, and we will catch you guys on the flip side. Peace out.
Auf Wiedersehen.